I often question the man-made laws when I'm driving as well. Like if my car speedometer says 120, why do I have to go 55? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm right there with you. So,
Man, okay, so I was not expecting that, right? Like I thought you were like talking about like while you're driving, you're contemplating, you're like really thinking like, why are we doing this in the church? But nah, you're looking at the speed limit going, I
I'm
don't think
trying to
I
get
need to
there
do
quicker,
that.
man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for safety, Ray. That's for safety.
Oh, okay. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, CBG fam? Thanks for tuning into this episode. As always, we are brought to you by our sponsors. That is Fearless Nonprofit. Fearless Nonprofit is a growing outreach ministry that seeks to fearlessly treat the world in a way that encourages love, family, and faith in Jesus. And very exciting, out now is their biblically based trading card game, Victory 7. Yes, the one that we have been talking about is available now. So if you want to learn more about this ministry, or if you like to pick up the game, go to fearlessnonprofit.org. We also are sponsored by Camp Living Waters, the one, the only Camp Living Waters located in Luther, Michigan, that is home of the Game Changer Board Gaming Retreat. Man, they have so much to offer there, and it's an amazing place to get away in God's presence. So if you want to learn more about them or sign up for a retreat, check them out at camplivingwaters.org. You can follow both of our sponsors on their socials on Facebook and Instagram. Huge shout out and thank you to our sponsors.
Welcome to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, where we focus on Jesus, community, and board games. Let's have some fun.
What is up? You are listening to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, proud members of the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. We are so excited to be here today. I have zero idea what episode we're on. I'm not like Ray. I don't get to track those things. I have no clue. But we are super, super excited to have a guest with us today. We have the great April Mitchell, and we're going to learn a little bit about her story, and just I'm excited to dig in. This is an interview we've wanted to do for quite a while, so we're glad we're actually getting the opportunity to do it. And so, yeah, that's it. That's all I had. That was the intro. I got nothing else. But I have to ask Ray, how you doing today, man? It's required.
Hey, Joe, it is. It is at this point. You're right. I am doing fantastic. Excited as always to be here. Excited to have April on the show. And excited to see what we do and what we learn about her today and all the amazing things that she's doing. I think we're somewhere around the episode 44, if I'm not mistaken. Sure. 44, 45, maybe. Who knows? I'll give us an exact figure later, maybe. We'll not that important, though. Not that important. What's important is this awesome person that we have here with us being interviewed today. So, April, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. I'm so excited to be here. I love your show. I love being able to just talk about God. It's so awesome. Sometimes I'll do podcasts or I'll be interviewed for articles and I wonder, are they going to leave that part in the article? Will they leave that part that part of my morning routine is reading my Bible and, prayer journaling. And sometimes stuff like that's left in and then sometimes it's not. So it's so nice to just know that everything I say today is everyone's going to be able to hear it. So I just love that.
100%. We won't cut a thing out unless I was gonna say unless it's a blatant heresy or something like that. Outside of that, everything else is fair game. But yeah, no, like I mentioned, we're really excited to do this interview. This is something Ray and I had actually talked about a while back, and then I was supposed to follow up, and time happened and never did. And then all of a sudden, this is the craziest thing. All of a sudden, we're at Tantrum Con, Love Thy Nerd, running hot games, and this lady comes walking this way, right? And I see in her hand the world's smallest Dr. Pepper bottle that I have ever seen in my life. And of course, because of who I am, I said, wow, man, that is the smallest bottle of Dr. Pepper I have ever seen. And it turned into this hilarious conversation. And then all of a sudden it clicked that this was April. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have been meaning to reach out to you because we wanted to do this interview. And I completely spaced on doing all of that because life. And yet God said, well, hey, how about since you're not doing it, dude, I will make it happen here at Tantrum Con.
No, it was fantastic because it was like, wait, I know you. Yeah. And you were like, I know you. How do we know each other?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Don't you
that was
love those
fantastic.
moments trying to connect the dots when your brain is working? You're like, I have to figure this out. See, my wife is not the same. She is more a little bit introverted, as I said before. But so many times I see people out, and she's like, I say, hey, I know that person. She's like, you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to talk to me like that. But I do. I do, because if I don't, I won't be able to sleep tonight. I'll be thinking about it all day. So I'm glad you guys figured it out, and we're here now.
100%. Yeah, it was good. And so it was just a fun moment. But again, this is actually was the good thing. This is that connection that needed to happen so that we can make this happen. Because honestly, April, I look at all the things that you've been able to do in design and just invention and all that. And I think it's really exciting. And again, as a follower of Christ, we really want to hear about your journey. So before we get into all the cool meat of it, I would just love for you to introduce yourself to our audience, let them know a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into some questions that we have.
Yeah. So first and foremost, while we're here, right, I'm a disciple of the Lord. I am
Amen.
a wife. My husband, Tony, and I have been married almost 22 years.
Wow. Praise God.
And thanks. Yes. It's always like this, but it's still going, right? Like
Praise
that's
God.
the main thing. We have 4 children who aren't so little anymore. They're 20, 19, 17, and 16.
Ooh.
So, some crazy times in our house. But before I had kids, I was a school teacher for a few years. We lived a kind of crazy, adventurous life. My husband was in the Marine Corps, so we traveled a lot, tried to make every place we went an adventure, and explored every area, and just really, trying to raise our kids to not just be believers, but to be disciples, because there's a big difference between those two words.
Amen to that.
So now that they're, adults and kind of moving on with their life, it was a couple of weeks ago, and I was just, we were in church, and I was just felt so overwhelmed with joy, because, the younger 2, they serve, the older one doesn't live at home, and he works some weekends. So like everyone was at church that day and in service. Cause again, everybody serves in different capacities. So it was just like, like what a blessing that they're here at these ages when they can go and do other things and choose to do something else on their Sunday. And it's just such a blessing. So that is, our biggest goal as parents. Like they're my biggest accomplishment, right? If we can get them to choose the Lord, have a relationship, serve, use their gifts and talents to glorify the Lord, then that's the biggest thing, that we can do. So anyway, that's my main goal. Our main goal as parents. And then I fell into game design, inventing, and that's the whole unique story in itself.
And we're excited to actually explore that story, because there's a lot. You're like all over the place, which is cool. Like you go to your website and it's like, man, like pretty decorated in some areas. It feels like, there's a lot going on, and having the toy design and game design and just different things. And so it's exciting. So I'm excited to explore that. So obviously you mentioned you're a disciple of the Lord. We'd love to hear a little bit about your testimony, right? Like when did you put your faith in Jesus, and how long you've been following him?
So I'm very blessed in the fact that I grew up in a home that was faithful to the Lord. So I grew up going to a Christian school. I was a kid who really enjoyed reading my Bible. I thought one day I might go into ministry at some point. And then I would say in high school, I started questioning things. And it was really good because it allowed my parents as well to kind of step back and look at these questions. And it was more so about the denomination we were in. And I don't want to go into details because, we have everybody from every different walks listening. But I was questioning, why are we obeying these man-made laws? And why are we doing these things? Because it's not in the word. And so that really helped my parents, and especially my dad as the leader of the home, to question those things as well. And we kind of, as a family, broke off from that denomination that our whole family, like both parents, grew up in, and kind of decided we were non-denominational in a sense. And so trying to find a church like that went with just biblical teachings and not man-made laws was really difficult. And we tried different things and found things. And then, so that was really good for my faith walk, to question things, not what the word says, but what the man says. Right. And through that, then my college years happened, and I will say I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'd go to Bible study, I'd go drinking. A couple days later, like that was a tough time kind of figuring things out. But I also did meet my husband during that time. So even when I was in and out, I was still in the word, but trying to figure out, being in the world and in the world, it doesn't, in the same time, it's a little funky. So we had found ourselves, the Lord said, you're going to re-find each other years later and put us in the same state all the way across the United States. Somehow it's amazing how he works. And we got married. We knew we were going to raise our children into the word, to know the Lord. And once we had a couple kids, I was rebaptized because I didn't have that choice when I was little. That was made for me from my parents. So I was rebaptized with that choice. And so I've always known the Lord, but then it became that whole question, why do I believe what I believe? And then rededicating myself and making the choice myself years later.
Yeah, that is great. That's great. I think that I kind of went through a similar thing in my life at a point of questioning like that, and then that just provided a much more solid foundation of
Right.
my walk with Jesus and why I trust him and why I believe him. And now it's like I can't be shaken from my faith because I went down that journey. So yeah, very interesting to hear you say that same thing. And I often question the man-made laws when I'm driving as well. Like if my car speedometer says 120, why do I have to go 55? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm right there with you. So
Man, okay, so I was not expecting that, right? Like I thought you were like talking about like while you're driving, you're contemplating, you're like really thinking like, why are we doing this in the church? But nah, you're looking at the speed limit going, I don't think I need to do
quicker,
that.
man.
Yeah.
That's for safety, Ray. That's for safety.
Oh, okay. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understand that now that I have a baby in the back.
I was gonna say there are man-made laws that are good. Like
yes,
we're gonna go back to some basics here on the Christian Board Gamers podcast.
Yeah, no. Well, thank you for sharing with that with us. That's great to hear a little bit about your journey. And how has your walk with Christ shaped the way that you approach life and creativity? You got your hands on a lot of things. You're a speaker. You're inventing things. You're making games and doing all kind of stuff. And how does Jesus play a part in that in what you do?
Good question. So I believe because we're a reflection of our Father, we're made in his image, we are created to create. And I think that there was a time where I felt when I was working on my passions, I'm going to put that in air quotes, my passions, that I was taking time away from my family and my kids. And I think that can be true. But also, I feel that I was meant to do what I do. It took a long time for me to get here and to realize this is part of my mission field, this industry, that this is part of his will for me. But when I went from a teacher to a stay-at-home mom, and I was a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids under the age of 5. So I was blessed to be able to do it for our family, but there were trying times. And I had also struggled with depression and anxiety, which is something we don't talk about enough. And I love to talk about that whenever I can, because I think it needs to be addressed and needs to be talked about. But, when I was raising kids, sometimes alone because my husband was deployed, it wore me down. And I felt like, who am I? I needed to be reminded, well, I'm his daughter, right? First, but I am a mom and I am a wife. And there's more to my mission too. My biggest mission is to raise our kids, right? To be disciples. But I also felt that there was something else. And so that slowly, I figured that out with creativity. I had problems that I wanted to solve. And so my first inventions were in the housewares industry. So once I learned, oh, wow, I was just solving a problem, but then I found out, oh, this is inventing, right? Like I'm actually inventing something, which made sense because my grandfather and my dad invented things and my great grandfather, but I never just thought about it as inventing. It was we just solve problems. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And then once I licensed a couple of things in the housewares industry, I thought, well, gosh, I'm doing games for my kids. I did it when I was in the classroom teaching. I'm making games for my kids because they don't like what else is out there, or they want their Lightning McQueen stickers on these games, and so that they would enjoy it. And the teacher and me tried to sneak learning into fun for my boys, especially who were rampant wildness. I know, Joe, you can understand that,
Yeah,
the three boys.
absolutely. 100%.
So, yeah. So, I mean, so I just try to be creative in solving these problems and making things for my kids, and then realized, oh, wow, I can try to do this in the toy and game industry. And it took a while. It took a good few years pitching and working on projects before I actually got anything licensed and to the market. And then kind of when it started happening, it kind of just started snowballing and things got, started going, because there were some tough times. And I would pray, and because it's a lot of hustle, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time where I could be doing other things, right? If my kids don't need me, I'm in my office. I'll be like, anyone want to hang out? Anyone want to do anything? But if everyone's busy, I'm working.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of time that you don't see financial rewards for a lot of it. And my husband would remind me, it's not always about the finances, right? Like it's about the community, it's about the people you're affecting, it's about lives you're changing. And so I'm very blessed to have him in my corner all of this time, why we're using family funds to, get me to the trade show and all these things. And now we're starting to see some of that come back, but not what most people think. They think, oh, you're inventing and you have all these games out, you must like have lots of money. And anyway, again, it's not about the finances, but kind of going back to the creativity part, is I just felt like, because it is fun, it is hard, and we do it a lot as a family. We do play testing as a family. They give input. Some things are co-designed by my kids. Sometimes I work with other designer friends on things, but the kids always have something to do with it. They play test everything. They're in the videos. But with all that, it's like I had said many times, close these doors if this is not what I'm supposed to do, because I'm spending a lot of time on this. Just close it, make it evident. And it would be hard, but the doors would keep staying open. And then sometimes they'd swing wide open, and I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. So it did take some time to realize that. And anytime I question it, I know. He's like, April, seriously, you're gonna question this again after what I am doing? Like, you can see what is happening here. And so what I love to do is, to speak, to share my journey, whether it be about inventing and my process to help other people get to, where I am or further sooner. So maybe they can learn something so it doesn't take them as long, to help the next generation. Because I never knew game design was even a thing, right? So like yesterday, I just spoke to a middle school design class about game design. And so stuff like that, I just love doing, as well as speaking on emotional health and natural health. I'm all about the natural health whenever we can do it. So I think we're all created to create in different ways. And I try to take what I learned as a teacher, and my confidence rose the more and more I spoke with people and taught and whatnot. And now I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until I'm told otherwise. So.
I love that. Yeah, we're all into the natural health things too. I mean, every once in a while you hear it on the show. Every once in a while we dabble in unfortunate conspiracy theories and our holistic views, but that's just because God created this world and He's got everything in it for healing and life. And I wish sometimes it was as tasty as a donut. I may or may not have that problem at times, but no, that's cool. I'm just being real, right? Like,
no, well, it's about balance, right?
Yeah.
Like,
my scale is not balanced. My scale is not balanced. Not in the way I want it to be anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, I think with a backyard full of chickens and making your own sourdough, you know what I mean? You have to be holistic. It's like,
oh, he froze. Oh, we lost the Ray. Where did the Ray go?
No.
He started talking about
there you are. Natural, I don't know, like homesteading oils and all the. Oh, did you lose me for a second? You guys both had this smile on your face, and I was like, oh, okay, they really like what I'm saying. They're not even moving while I'm talking. This is great. No, but anywho, yeah, natural, all about it, man. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. That's great. Thank you, April. I love hearing Jesus in your story, and the things that you're speaking on is fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. So in that, obviously there's a journey, right? You started sharing some of that. Like if you were to pull out maybe one or two like big lessons that you've learned in this journey that God showed you outside of the fact that he's like, look, clearly I'm opening these doors, right? Like those are the lessons I think that we're going to learn as well. But outside of that, what is like maybe one or two big lessons that you're like, man, in this journey of inventing, in this journey of game design, these things have always stuck with me. This is something that they don't intend to forget. This is a lesson learned.
Yeah. I think, we've probably all heard this in some form or fashion, like people remember how you treat them, and I think that's important because I think the relationships that we build in this industry and the reputation we have goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And so something that I struggle with at times is how do I, be true to myself and my faith and shine my light, but without shoving anything down people's throats. And so, that's been something that I've been conscious of. And I believe the more influence we have, the easier it is for people to come to us and see, oh, there's a difference there. And so I concentrated on just shining my light. And that's what we tell the kids, just shine your light, just shine your light, just be like, love everyone, be positive, and when you have that good, you can kind of say it, energy, I'll just make it, when you have that, people gravitate towards you. Like I guess biblically it's the overflow, the spiritual overflow. People gravitate towards that and they don't know what it is. They just know, sorry guys, my dog can open the door and he just did. So that was what it's one of those hinge doorknobs. Anyway.
It's awesome.
Okay.
So, but I think people gravitate towards that and it resonates with them and they might not know why they enjoy talking with you. Besides just maybe you're a nice person or you're creative or whatnot. But I think then that helps build those relationships and people want to work with you. And even if they pass on, gosh, the 50th game I've, pitched to them, they're still like, April, like this one was so close, like keep going. We really want to work with you. That matters, that really matters. And I feel like we have to remember that it's about his timing, not ours. And as a game designer, I want to license 10 things. I want to license a dozen things. I want to get stuff out. Right. But it's not about my timing. And I think something that can really show this is in 2024, I won an award for Game Innovator of the Year for People of Play. And it's interesting because I was very excited. I wore a super fancy dress and so many people were like, you knew, didn't you, that you won because you wore like an extra fancy dress to go up there. And I said, that's really funny. I did not know, but I really felt it was God's time, not just my time, but God's time, because now at that point, I've known people for 6, 7, 8 years, and they don't see me as someone pushing things, but just shining my light. And I knew that it was ready. It was time for me to proclaim his name on that stage. And I've been going to that same event for years, and I never heard one person thank the Lord.
Wow.
And I was the first one that to do that since I've been going. Like maybe it's happened. And from me giving praise and glory to the Lord, and that was the first thing I said in my speech. And then I thanked everyone I worked with, not that it was all about me because it's a team effort. And of course, my family was a big part of that. I had top executives ask me what the word Yahweh meant.
Oh, wow.
And they said, I've heard someone say that before. Is that another name for God? And so I got to talk to them about that. And then I had other people say, that was so awesome that you gave praise to the Lord. Like I've heard people say, thank the universe before, but not God. And so when several people came to me and that's what they noticed about my speech, to me, it was like, again, to God be the glory, because I had never heard that. And I had to have that influence where it wasn't, and build those relationships and have that reputation where it wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, there's that Bible thumping inventor who like just is so annoying with the God stuff, right? Like it had to be his timing. And so I try to remind myself that when I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't licensed something in 6 months. And like, come on, like, when's the next thing coming out? That kind of stuff that, all right, I need to allow space for the Lord to do his work. Like I can hustle, I can do as much as I can, but he's got to do his thing. He's got to do his thing. So
yeah, I love that. And I love what you're saying too, because this is something I've been talking with people a lot about, like, cause I've been walking, through a Bible study I do on Sunday mornings with people like before church or whatever, and walking them through like discipleship and evangelism and going through this and looking at, evangelism and discipleship from a relational standpoint. And this is doing life with people. This is having influence. This is living in such a way that people see Christ in and through you, and having proximity with them so they can see you in the hard spaces, see you in the good times, right? And when their life is faltering, it gives them an opportunity to go to you or whatever. But also talking about when Jesus spoke to the crowds. And I was like, there's something that we have to understand here. It's not just Jesus turning and just starting to speak to the crowds. Jesus's reputation preceded him, right? Jesus had the reputation. He had the authority to turn to the crowds and speak. He's not just shouting at the crowds. He actually had compassion on them, and he had influence with them, and he had a reputation that preceded him. And I think that what you're doing here and what you've shared is giving that exact example of, you had the influence, you had the reputation, people understood who you were, they saw the light in you. And this is what Peter says too, right? Like he says to live in such a way that they ask us about the hope that is in us, right? And then we be prepared to make that defense when they ask us, right? And I think this matters. But having that influence and being able to actually use that in that moment and say, okay, Lord, cool. This is the time where we're gonna blow the lid off this thing, because now you've set the stage, literally, in this case, to the point where I can go up and do that. And so I love that, and I think that approach is solid, and God will give us the time and the indicators as to when we're to speak, how we're to speak, when, all those kind of things, and we trust him in that process, rather than trying to force ourselves in. And like you said, then you're the annoying person, and you push people away more than you draw them in. And I think we should be people that are drawing people in, and ultimately close to God. So I love that.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Christian Board Gamers Podcast. Y'all, God is moving in nerd culture, and you can be a part of it. Love Thy Nerd is sending missionaries into gaming spaces, conventions, and communities to build relationships, serve people well, and share the love of Jesus. These aren't just trips. They're opportunities to step into mission, make a real impact, and be part of what God is doing. Head to lovethynerd.com/outreach, check out the trips we've got coming up, and take your next step today. Now back to the episode.
Ray was writing frantically too, so I think he's got some follow-up questions.
Oh yeah, no, I was just such a great lesson. I actually was looking around on your website. I was going to ask you about it, but I saw that you can actually see your acceptance speech if they go to your website at 4ascreations.com, and that website is just chock full of all kind of content, all the things that you do, all these amazing things. So yeah, if anybody wants to see that speech, I am going to go watch it later, because now I'm very interested in that. But I did want to ask you, what's the 4 A's? What's the story behind 4 A's?
Yes. So all 4 of our children's names start with an A.
Okay. I was thinking that might be the case, but I just wanted to verify.
Well, and what's funny then, it kind of confuses people, because my name is also starts with an A, but my husband's name is Tony, and people think legally his name is Anthony, but it's not. It's like legally Tony. So like they're like, well, 4 A's, that's your kids, but I'm like, they're inspiring, right? So that's where the 4 A's comes from. Yeah.
Our boys are all A's as well, so we have 3 A's. We're not,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and in hindsight, it's like you start yelling, and it's like, you don't know who you're trying to say, whose name.
We say A1, A2, A3, like it's like one of y'all, like whatever. Somebody over here.
Somebody better show up when I start yelling, okay, or else everybody's in trouble.
If I say, if an A is coming out of my mouth, just guarantee it's one of y'all. All right, like there we go. That's it.
Funny.
For sure.
Beautiful. I love that. So, We are the Christian Board Gamers podcast, and we talk about Jesus and board games, and we love all things board games. And so I want to ask you this question from that perspective. So you design across all kind of multiple industries, games, toys, housewares, much more. What to you is unique about designing a board game compared to other products that you have licensed and put out?
Yeah, well, I think in other industries, especially housewares, I can take one product for suggestion. For example, I have an adjustable over the door hook, and I could take one thing and like tweak it or make a change to it, and you can have a whole new product in some industries. Where in the game design industry, it took me a little while to learn you can't just put a new theme and add one change to it. Like you can use, obviously things that are familiar in game design, mechanics that have already been done, and sometimes we create our own, which is always exciting when you're like, I've never seen this before and we're going to do this in this game. But you're taking things that already exist, right, and you're like reformulating them in a new way. But you have to oftentimes make there be something familiar with it so it's not too overwhelming, but then also have things that are unique and different. So like finding that, like just that right, I don't know, formula, I think can be really tricky, but also it's like satisfying and gratifying when you do. And I design a lot of times, I would say, starting with theme or name of a game. And then the other times it's usually then, just a mechanic or maybe an actual game component. Like, I want to use these little bears that I bought. How can I use these little bears? So it's just, it makes you think a lot. And I think it helps stretch us. I think it really helps us just stretch our mind and just the brainstorming of it all and trying things. And it helps you realize, like, there's not always an easy fix, like, and for designing that board game, but also life, and that there's different solutions and it's not always going to look the same. And people are going to see things differently, right? So like you may be playtesting a game and someone reads the directions and you both take it totally different ways. That's in conversations, that's in life. I think there's so many things we can learn from board games, which of course is what you guys do. Like, I love when you compare two games you're playing. And so just to take that and try to use it also personally and in our faith too, because I fall short. Just the other day, I like found myself wanting to complain, and I'm like, well, that was kind of more gossipy than complaining. Like, where did that fall? Like, and then I'm like, may the words of my mouth, and then you're like, oh, and and then I'm like, oh, he put me in another situation and I failed again. Like, you're like, shoot, but we're always able to learn, I think, from just the different aspects of game design.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems like you enjoy figuring out the puzzle within the game design. So, what are some of your favorite games to play or game mechanics in a game?
Yeah, what's funny is we play a lot of games that are more like silly or funny or family party, but one of our favorites is always Quirkle. Like we're gifted that when the kids were little, like your kids' age, Joe. And then as old as my kids are now, it's still one of our go-to games. And I think the reason is because it's a little thinky, but it's not overwhelming. But you also can have conversations while you're playing. And so I like when you are having to kind of match or solve a little puzzle in a sense, but it's not too overwhelming. And at the same time, we also love when you're kind of learning about each other and you're like, what, you think that, or what, no way. And you kind of have like these surprise moments. Even though we're all in the same family, you're like, what? I didn't know that. So I do love the kind of get to know you family party style games as well. And like the game To Do or To Don't, that yellow one that looks like a checkbox list, like that, I came up with that game because I literally had the craziest things on my to-do list. Like, I'm a to-do lister, and I had like wacky things on it because of the kids and because of our life. And I'm like, why is this on my to-do list? Like, no one should have this on a to-do list, And so I'm like, so maybe there's a game with like weird things on to-do lists, but also like to-do list meets bucket list. And so there's everyday items and things some people might have done, and then like bucket list items on there, and you're trying to get rid of your list and people have to decide, is that really something they've done, or are they fibbing about it? But it's not like the lie, like you're like, has my mom done that? Like, no, how did why should, and it's just kind of funny, thinky stuff. So those are the kind of games like we just like as families, that where we can kind of have a conversation going while we're playing, and or like learn something about each other, and it just makes us laugh. I just want to laugh. I want to laugh because I feel like laughing is an extra, like there's laughing and there's fun and there's connection. Like that's my goal, is to bring fun, laughter, and connection to families with the games. And a friend recently said this to me, and I thought it was interesting, and I need to look into it more, and I need to like think and pray on it. But they said, laughter and fun is spiritual. And I thought, I never thought of it that way. Like, I'd love to find more resources and just kind of think about that more. But I thought that was interesting way of looking at it. I don't know if your guys' thoughts on that, and if you've heard that or feel that way, but
yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, again, you look at play, and you look at how God created, and you look at how he created us. Like, if you think about our emotions, you think about all the things that come with being human, if you will. Play, I think, plays a big role into that, right? I think even like when you look at learning, like play, like you said, you sneak some learning in there. Like, you learn through playing, you learn through those interactions and those engagement. We're designed for community, and community is not, in my mind, community is not drab. When I look at Acts chapter 2, right? They're breaking bread together. They're hanging out. They're kicking it. I could imagine like whatever games were around them, they're playing it. Like you know what I mean? Like they're just
casting
they're casting lots, right?
In the upper room.
Yeah, like whatever. But I mean, like, they're like, oh, you guys think you invented Monopoly? Like, just wait. No, but it's like, you go through this process, and then they're also taking care of one another. Like, they're making sure that no one has need. They're really living together. And this to me seems like it would be a boat ton of fun. And this is where like Christianity in my mind becomes contagious. Like, if we're genuinely living this way and there's something going on, people are like, what in the world is happening over there? They look like they're having a great time. And again, like you look at Jesus even saying, like, when one sinner repents, like the angels are pretty much throwing a party, right? Like, they rejoice over this. Now, I'm not saying they throw a party, but like they're rejoicing. And Paul tells us to rejoice. And when we look at rejoicing and we look at that, it's because it's rooted in Christ. Like, we should be the most joyous people in the room because of what we have, right? Like, who we know, who we belong to. Like, this should literally spark that joy. And so there's something to it, right? There's like a holiness to play, and there's this time and to be able to get together and just literally have camaraderie. And I think that's important, and I think that's exciting. And so, yes, absolutely think that there is a spiritual aspect to laughter and those connections, because I think laughter breaks down walls. Right? From like a conversational, sorry, I'm now a soapbox in here. I apologize. But like, it's like, no, like laughter breaks down walls, right? If I'm in a conversation with somebody and we're just cracking up, let's say they don't know Christ, and obviously I do, and we're laughing, we're having a great time. And then all of a sudden something comes up and they're like, oh wait, you're a Christian? What they're not doing is be like, oh, that dude was dry. That dude, like, he was boring. Like, they're looking at it like, man, he was a blast. Like, it was really fun to hang out with him. And like, that was a great time. And I think there's something special and powerful about that, because then it can lead to, hey, we had a really great time over here, and now my life kind of hit the fan, and I'm going to go to you because like we have some of this proximity, we have this relationship, and we've had a blast every time we've hung out, but you seem to have something I don't, right? Like this should be an appealing thing. Like, people shouldn't, I think sometimes, and broad brush, general strokes here, I think sometimes as Christians, we're so preoccupied with the dark that we forget we're the light. And we're so into, oh, it's so dark outside. And my whole thing is like, then get outside. Like, this is prime time. Like, we're called to shine bright lights. Like, do all things without grumbling and complaining, and thus be a light in the midst of a dark and perverse generation. Like, go. Now, I think there's context there, but like, it's still this idea of like, look, like, we should be out in this world shining brightly for Christ, instead of talking and being so entrenched in how dark it is. So, no, I think there's definitely a lot there, personally. Yeah.
I do too. I'm not going to get on a soapbox. I think
I don't have a soapbox. It's a
Joe
chair.
did that very, very well. But I will say from scripturally, in Ecclesiastes 30:22, it says the gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of man prolongs his days. And now then we also see where we talk about the joy of the Lord is my strength, and so many places where it talks about healing to the bones and being happy and gladness. And I think that that is synonymous with the laughter, the fellowship, the happy. A smile breaks down barriers, like Joe said. That's a language that everybody knows is a smile, right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
I think that there's a spiritual component to it, because when we do think about, like you said, the rejoicing and the happiness and being with Jesus and what that's going to look like, there's that joy that wells up in you. And so I think that, yeah, it definitely is spiritual in nature to bring us gladness and be together with one another.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
love it.
great.
Love it. And I don't know if this, and then I don't know why it hit me as funny, but when you said scripturally, for some reason, I was like, is that anything like Grammarly? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why that hit me. Sorry.
It should be, if
Yeah.
not. Oh, yeah. Now
There's an
we have
invention. Pull up
We have an
scripturally.
inventor
Let's
right
go.
here. All right,
All
scripturally.
right.
Let's talk off air. How do
Yeah.
we make this happen?
Welcome to
Walk me through the licensing.
That's awesome. Scripturally. All right, that's good.
That's
So
great.
so I mean, I dabble in the game designing, and we have a lot of people that listen to the podcast, a lot of people in the Christian Board Gamers group that are designers that want to use their use their creativity for the Lord. They want to design games that are going to honor him, and some just design games and they just have a great time doing it, right? So I'm going to ask a little bit more of a pointed question, because I know you also do like a master class and some mentoring and that kind of stuff. What would you say are some common mistakes that new game designers make?
Ooh,
I know,
that's
drilling it. Mm.
that's a big one. You know what's interesting? I would say, like, I'm gonna generalize to like all inventors for a
Sure.
second here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, because I did coaching for several years, and something that a lot of people think is that they they don't do enough research to find out what already exists.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really, really important to do a research. And now it's made it so easy. When I have a new game idea, I literally put my directions and theme into AI and ask it to, and I dug my heels in with AI for a long time, you guys,
Sure,
but let me tell
same,
you, it is
same.
so great
Yeah.
for research. And I say, okay, here is my new game. Please compare it and contrast it to other games currently on the market.
Mhm.
And I get such great information. And then that helps me decide, is this something I move forward with or not? And of course, this might not hit everything, but it is really a great resource. Something else that I see a lot of times is people like really put stress on patents, and it is not always needed, especially in the game design world. I mean, I do hold 3 patents, but I will tell you, 99% of the time, I'm not filing a patent on a game. You know, like there's been a couple of games where I had like a new device or utility that I filed a PPA on to just try to see if there's anything to it, like if it's worth patenting, but most of the time not. And I find that more so when I license games, the name is important. Like companies want to know if that trademark is available. So I always research to find out if that trademark is available, even if I don't trademark it, just if it's available. Because a lot of times companies will change a name, but if they like the name, they want to know if it's available to trademark. And what I found out is, and you guys might know, but like if someone just changes a certain percent of your game, then your copyright doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
I don't spend time on IP most of the time. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so, but I will say so many people put so much money into patents, and it oftentimes is not necessary. And then the 2 more big things is a lot of times people think they're going to just make millions and millions of dollars, and they like stop their real life job.
Yeah.
And it's not okay to do that unless you have like tons saved up and you're like, I'm going to like do nothing for 2 months or 2 years while I work on my game. But even if I come up with a new idea and I pitch it and a company comes out with it in 12 months from signing it, which has happened, you know, and I'll get an advance for it, but then to start collecting royalties after that, like it could be a couple years after that. And so unless you have a huge hit that sells like hundreds of thousands of copies, which is not typical, right? It's amazing when that happens for people, and I'm so happy for them all, but it's not typical. So it's more of something where I would say, do it because you enjoy it, do it as a hobby, do it as an extra thing. And then maybe someday if you accumulate things, it can become that, major job, or your only one thing that you get to concentrate on. And the last thing is, people give up way too fast. Oh no, we lost
Ray.
Ray. Oh no.
I hope he comes back.
He didn't like what I had to say.
Yeah, he was
He's
like, I'm not interested. Yeah.
Stuff. He was just like, enough with what April has to say.
And now he's literally disappeared. I think you might have sent me a text. Let's see. This is fun. Okay. Welcome to the Christian Board Gamers podcast, where anything can happen. We People believe disappear. That. He said, my internet is messing up, so just keep rolling. That was very clear. So we will. Okay. He'll be back. But yeah, keep sharing there. Sorry.
Yeah. So what I was saying before Ray disappeared was that people give up way too easy. I've seen so many amazing games that were designed and just inventions that people like. It's hard. It's hard work. It's a lot of like bootstrapping, lots of effort. It could be years before something gets licensed, even if it does. But people give up too easy.
Yeah, no, that's real. And appreciate you saying that too. I know, like within my own design journey, like I'm, I'm self-publishing and doing all that kind of stuff, and I'm a doer, so like I want to learn by doing, and so I was like, I don't know even how to design a game, where to start, so I just started doing some small box stuff and small batch and all that, and now I've been really leaning into the IP, ironically, but not with patents and all that jazz, but just like the actual IP, the art, and all that stuff, and we've been grinding for the last few years, and I feel like now we're starting to really see the fruit of that, like in the realm of just the game itself and where we're at. So very excited. But there was a moment where you're like, am I really going to continue to do this? Because it's a lot of work. I'm self-publishing. Like, what am I doing? Right. Like trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. And so, no, I agree. I think there is a perseverance that's required. And I do it because honestly, I love it. I absolutely love designing games, which I didn't know I'd like to do until 4 or 5 years ago, where all of a sudden you're like, I really like this. So no, I think that's great. And that's a good thing.
Well, and I think as long as you would do it anyway without the money, like sometimes, so what I've been trying to do this year and last year is I've really taken a step back, and I would say in the spring, like last year from, I guess probably January to summer, I probably worked on a third to a quarter of the games I normally would have. Just because there was just so much time. We traveled a lot as a family. My daughter started playing club volleyball. And then when we were together as a family, I didn't want every time we were together to be playtesting.
Yeah.
And like, that's not like, the kids do it and they enjoy it, but that I didn't want that to be our only family time. So I worked on a lot less projects last year, and I'm kind of doing that same thing now after coming back from a few conventions and stuff. I'm just really slowing it down. But what's interesting is I like to remind myself that even when I slow down, God doesn't.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on less things, and I feel like he almost blesses me more because I'm putting more time into my family. Like I felt that, I kind of feel that way.
Love it.
And so I would do this, like my brain I don't know that I could stop. Like the creativity would have to come out some way. So even if it's slower pace and it's not as much as I would like to crank out, like I still would do something. So why not keep it going?
Yeah.
And it's persistence, it's perseverance, it's but I think knowing too that it's part of your journey helps too. Then you don't question it. And I mean, I'm in the process of my first self-published game. And after licensing so many things, I'm a lifelong learner. I love teaching. I love learning. And so I want to go through the whole process and know that it worked or didn't work because of, like what I had a part in it too, right? You give it to a company and they can do the best job, or some people will advertise and some will market, some won't. You don't know what's, why is it not working? Is it because of the game? Is it because of the company? Is it because of whatever? And I just wanted to take something through all the way, because I also felt like it would help me just as a designer, because having to make those choices, the art choices and the final things before manufacturing, those are big choices. And now I feel like the weight of what the companies feel and understand why it's hard for them to decide too what they want to take on, because it took me almost 2 years to decide which game to actually make.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, wow, okay, there's a lot here, a lot here to learn from.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, and I will tell you what, I definitely don't do it for the money. I have spent far more money than I have received. Let's put it that way. You know, but no, definitely, I love hearing that, and that's cool. That's exciting that you're even shifting now and focusing on the self-publishing and going through the whole process. That's I have found it to be, and again, I mean, still in the midst of it, like just a really satisfying journey to some degree, where it's like, you know, I look back and I'm like, even if nothing happens with this, like I can say that, hey, I took a shot. Like we did it. We did the thing. And not everyone can say that. We took an idea and we got it through to completion. To me, there's something incredibly powerful about that. And at the end of the day, I'm showing my kids like, yo, we tried things, man. Like we're going to do hard things and it's okay. And we're going to trust God with the results, and we're just going to move forward, and we're going to allow him to do what he wants to do with it. But I could say, hey, had an idea and took it all the way through. And this is what God did with it. You know, because I'm growing regardless. There's no question. So yeah, love it.
100%. No, I love that. And that's the thing too, is like, we know what could happen. It just depends on what he wants.
Right.
Like what his plan is, right? Like I believe, could this be the thing that takes it all the way and pushes the thing over, to actually say, oh, there's financial rewards finally from this, or maybe he's not wanting to do that. You know what I mean? But either way, I'm learning, we're growing, the whole family sees the process. And I think that's important for the kids.
Huge.
I really do.
Yeah. So big. Yeah. So Ray, now that you went from raptured to back here with us.
The Lord said it wasn't time. I still had more work to do.
Yeah. He straight up Phillips you
there. Oh man. Yeah, no, this internet, man, is crazy because I don't have it plugged in. So, and wow, this is total sidebar. Like we have our internet like stuff on a little box to hide it and make it look all nice and neat. If I don't take my like set outside of the box, and it gets weird. And so it was in the box. I had to take it out of the box, like a lot of people have to do for God. Oh, okay.
Wow.
So I'm gonna keep it moving. All right. So April, with the with your game design, how many games have you designed at this point?
Oh, I have no idea. That dawned on me the other day is I should actually count them, but I don't know. But
too many to count. All right, got it.
About 12 published, and I'll have 4 more coming out this year.
Oh, great.
But I mean, there's a lot that haven't made it, or they're on the back burner, and I'll try again, or tweaking and that kind of thing. But I don't know. It's a lot though.
Yeah. Up to this point, do you have a favorite game? A favorite
you stole my question
that you worked on. Something. I know we're connected here. Like we're on the hive, Joe.
Yeah. You know, that's so hard. And if any of my publishers listen to this, they would be really sad if I don't say the game that they published for me. They're all favorites in their own way, right? Like let's just be political for a second.
Nice. Yeah, way to politic it. Okay.
But I will say the one so there's 2 things I'm most excited about right now. One is my game Guacnado. I'm self-publishing, right? Because that one I'm seeing it all the way through. So right now that's got like an extra special space in my heart. But also I'm just really loving how a game came together, and the artwork and everything. It'll be coming out this year. It's called Ferris Wheel Rush. And I went to Gen Con for the first time a couple years ago, and I was just so amazed at the themes of games, because I'm more from the mass market side. And so that was the first time I was at Gen Con. I loved how just unique and like specific games were. And I just thought, gosh, I've never seen a game with a Ferris wheel. I'd love to make a game with a Ferris wheel. And so I had this board, and there was these Ferris wheel carts that you'd have to move around in the right spaces. And it was just really neat to work on that game, to kind of see the flow and how everything came together. And then the company that licensed it really went like, it's a cooperative game, but they made it so it could also be competitive, which was an easy like switch to do, but then also solo mode, which was interesting as well. And so they just did a really fantastic job with it. Rose Art, you may know as Crazy Art, they used to have a game line years, like when it was started generations ago, and then they stopped and really went into the art supplies and the puzzles and things. And now their game line is relaunched. And so I get to be a part of that relaunch. So it's very, very special. And that the gentleman, Jake, he knew me from when he was in another company, and he sought me out, right? Here's the relationships. Again, April, we're just, taking meetings with so many inventors. What do you have for us? And so it's just important. And it's been so wonderful working with him and his team. And again, they just did a great job with the artwork. And I am so happy with all of these and feel very, very blessed. We have a Spanish version of one of the games and from Spain. So that's always fun. But so this one I'm just excited to see like come, because it was just inspired from just, my first time at Gen Con, and just really realizing, wow, I can, dive into these unique themes and have another game that no one would know was necessarily started, and it came to be because of my quiet time with the Lord. And it will be a mass market game. And so anyway, it's just kind of neat to see how God unfolds things. And yeah,
that's what's up.
So,
but I am curious though. So in Guacnado, because that's just fun to say here, like, and you don't have to disclose much, because I know you're doing your thing there, but like, what exactly are players doing in Guacnado? I am legit curious. I've heard of Sharknado, I've heard of Tornado, but what is the Guacnado bringing?
Yeah, what's fun is, and I don't know if you guys ever do this, but like right now I've got like a fun little sizzle video. It's not the final cards, but the cards are, the back of the cards are all like, look like they're guacamole kind of, and these are all on the table. Okay, so they're just all a mess on the table. And in the center of the storm is the taco card. Okay. And players are, if you think of Uno meets Piles meets Taco Cat, like if it was like put in a blender and like spewed out, it's like it has like familiarities of those.
You'd have guacamole. Yeah, I got it. For sure.
So everyone's like flipping over these cards as quick as they can, and they're trying to match either the taco topping or the background color to their top card. And if it's a match, they lay it, and now that's the top card, and they got to match the other cards. But anything they flip over that they don't match, they just leave it up. And so now you've got these other cards up. And so I might see that, I have a match over something that Ray flipped over. And so like you're flipping your own cards, but also paying attention to what other people are flipping. And so you're just fast grabbing, trying to make as, collect as many cards as you can. But while that happens, if a Guacnado card is flipped over, the person yells Guacnado. And what happens is everyone freezes. And then you flip all of those cards that were face up, back face down, and you move them around, and that Guacnado swirls on the table.
That's cool.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. And then if the crunch card is found, that's yelled out, and then everyone goes and crunches the taco in the center. And so the last person who crunches the taco has to put half their cards back. And so just super silly, super fun, a 5-minute game, like cute, easy, for the whole family to play.
I'm gonna go having tacos after this episode. Yep.
Love it.
There you go.
Wait, what was the inspiration for that game? Was there like a messy night of guacamole on taco night, or what happened?
It was funny because actually a publisher came to me and asked me to work on a game for them. We'll just say with a Mexican fiesta kind of theme.
Sure.
And in my mind, everything needs a story. It needs a background. And so I was like, okay, there was a Guacnado, and then this happened, and this is why you're doing this and that. And they ended up not going with my game that I came up with. So I took the Guacnado idea, because I love the Guacnado, and then I created a new game with that as the name, not just like the background story.
Yeah.
So and I had thought about that too, like Guacano, like it was a volcano that spews out guacamole for a little bit.
Sequel.
Yes. So So I just thought, and the kids watched, we watched those silly Sharknado movies. They were so silly because they're so ridiculous. And I know a Guacnado sounded like there should be a game with that name in it. So just super silly and funny. But and I wanted to have my first game I self-published be just cards, because I felt like that would be a very easy access point for my first self-published game. And I'm like, I can do a deck of cards. Like, I think I can handle that. But like game components and boards, like I felt that was a little too much, maybe for another game, but just for me right now. And then financial wise too, I was looking at like, here's my budget. What can I do? And pick a game with cards. And I'm like, okay, I can make that work with that budget. So
not gonna lie, I'm excited to play some Guacnado one of these days.
Me too. Can't wait.
Yeah, I will be sending you guys some Guacnado.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would love to play it and talk and even review it. Yeah, no.
I would love it. Yeah, please do.
And the sequel Guacano, I think, needs to occur too. So this needs to happen. I absolutely love that. Now, so I've been looking at this behind you the whole time, and I've seen it on your website and all this kind of stuff, but I am actually very curious to know how you came up with "Am I a Dirtbag?" Because like that it jumps out. Like, I will tell you, Guacnado is a great title, and I think that's something you definitely have a knack for, is getting those titles that make you want to be like, I kind of want to know what that is. I want to know what this is. I want to play it. So, I a Dirtbag definitely jumps out at me. And so, what inspired that?
Yes. So I will say, so my friend Karine Rosalia, she's the co-designer on that. We wanted to work on a game together, and we came like to our meeting with different ideas. And you may or may not be familiar, but Reddit has like a series called "Am I the A?"
Yeah.
And and I don't follow it a ton, but really people are trying to find out if what they did or said was jerky or not. Like they really want people that they don't know to weigh in on things to find out, am I wrong? And it just resonated with me because anyway, so she's the one who came up with the theme idea after, we talked about it. Because that happens so much. I like replay a conversation in my head. Was that snotty? Could they have taken that the wrong way? Because I really didn't mean it that way, and it's just something I think a lot of us do or struggle with. Like you wonder, was that okay to say or do? And so that's how that came to be. So then we designed the game kind of based on that, like where you have a situation and then people say, yeah, that was yes or no, a dirtbag move. But then there's information like put in, like, well, I didn't get up for the old lady because my leg was broken, or I didn't, you know what I mean? Like there's more to the story, like you find out, and then you're trying to decide like, okay, is this person still a dirtbag? Or now that we have all the information, they're not. So like thinking about like, this is real life stuff, right? Sometimes we jump to conclusions and we like judge, which we shouldn't be doing. And when we find out all the information, we may change our mind. So it's about trying to change other people's minds with more information, as more information is revealed.
Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become a dirtbag. I get it.
There we go.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, we're kind of up against it for time. This has actually been fantastic. I've really enjoyed this and hearing your journey, and I'm excited for our listeners too as well. And so if you're watching this and you have other questions that we didn't get to, because we had 3 pages of questions and got to like 7 of them. If you're listening and you're like, man, I have questions or I want to know more, we'd love for you to chime in on the podcast, leave a comment, do all that fun jazzerific jazz, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But April, I would love for you to tell people, I know Ray kind of pitched the website in the middle there and we'll put it in the link, but how can people connect with you? And if they wanted to reach out or just check out what you're doing, where can they go?
Yeah, so I'm heavily on LinkedIn, and I typically put out videos on tips and information in the game design world. And then also, and it's just April Mitchell, and the picture looks like me, so you should be able to find me.
Get on YouTube so you can see.
Yes. And then also Instagram, I'm April Mitchell _meant to invent. And that came because that's also an article I write in Inventor's Digest magazine. But there I share like daily something, right? It might be a review, it might be a project I'm working on, it might be like, hey, this game just came out here. And I like to do behind the scenes stuff. So I will post videos showing the prototype of a game and compare it to the end shelf, like retail ready game. So I'll show you like the game box and the cards and everything, so you can kind of see like what it started as and what it is now. So I like to show that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'd love for you to follow me on Instagram, connect on LinkedIn, so you can get that information. I'm also on YouTube, but I'm not good at updating it. So you can follow me those ways. And yeah, there's a lot of inventor resources on my website, articles, podcasts, things like that, the speech, lots of things on there. So please take a look if you're interested in anything game design or just want to see what all we're talking about.
Yeah, love
Awesome.
that. Like I said, we'll have all the links in there. Go ahead, Ray.
I did have one last question here that I want to ask you. So this episode is going to come out after the holy day of Resurrection Sunday, the day that we hang our faith on, and that empty tomb, the promise of Jesus Christ that he rose from the dead, man. And so we will be celebrating. And I just want to know, do you have any special traditions that you do as a family for the holiday, or anything that you look forward to?
Yeah. So when we are home, we do like to do the sunrise service. That's always great. And we've done it different places wherever we move. Like we've done it on a mountain in Hawaii. We've done it on a ship while in Hawaii, like just different places we've done the sunrise service. The last couple years we've camped and done our own family sunrise service because that's when you have 4 teenagers, you don't hardly get time together. So this is the time we can camp. Let's do it over Easter. Let's make it happen. And did that. And it's just really about the quality time and, sharing a meal together and just slowing down and, just that time together. But we do enjoy the sunrise service. At the moment, we all don't want to get out of bed, but have to, it's always like, this was so great. We're so glad we did this. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, I hope that you enjoy time spent with your family as well as all of our listeners as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, hey, we're going to wrap it up. So y'all, thank you so much for listening. April, thank you again for being on the show. This was a joy. We'd probably love to do this again in the future too. I'm sure there's so much more we can discuss. So stay tuned for that. Seriously, thank you so much. This has been great. And if you have stuck with us this entire time and listened to this episode, man, we hope it is a blessing to you. As always, we want to leave you with Matthew 5:16, to let your light shine before others so they may see your good deeds and glorify our Father who is in heaven. Let's get it. Let's be on the go. Let's move. Let's give him Christ. Much love. Peace.